To consider how shadows are behaving when they get closer to each other, I'm going to stay in behind of this bar so we can consider how the shadow of that and the shadow of mine behave when they get closer to each other. So now I try to move in a way my shadow gets closer to the other one. You see that the shadow of my elbow stretches out and the shadow of that bar gets inboard. That plate has no connection with me at this moment. It's quite far, and the things of Huygens or this kind of issues, wave particle, any of them cannot be considered in such a big, huge distance, I would say. So to understand what's going on, first of all, I have to say if I replace my position and that plate, then my shadow gets inboard and the other one stretches outboard. So the item which is closer to the observation screen stretches outboard, and the item closer to the light source stretches inboard. Let's consider this in a better condition rather than such a rough observation screen that right now I have full of sands. Okay, now I set up the same experiment with shadows with two items, one in rectangular shape, another circular, and the shadows of them are on the observation screen. The distance between them is quite far, and we cannot talk about Huygens waves, whatever. Let's understand what's going on. Now you can see better how the shadow of the circle item stretches out, and fortunately the wind helps me, moves this, shakes this item, and then you can see better the behavior of shadow when they are getting closer or further distance from each other. You see how the shadow of the rectangular plate stretches out and the circle one moves inboard because I changed the position of them, and now the rectangular plate is closer to the observation screen and the circle one is closer to the light source. You see the distance between them is too far to be considered as a tiny hole aperture and then waves of Huygens. But from the other side, this phenomenon is similar to what we call it glory of shadow. How these shadow are stretching and how much, and then how the other one gets inboard, this is something later I will do it in the lab. Now again I changed the position of these two plates. The circle now is closer to the observation screen and the rectangle plate is closer to the light source. So this is the condition at this moment. Is a far distance between the rectangular plate and the circular plate, and what you saw it on the shadows. You can do this experiment with any of light sources, with any of pieces, so you don't have any restriction limit. Just try to find anything produces shadow, then you can play with them and see by yourself how the shadows are getting stretched when they touch each other, while there is no any connection between the items produce those shadows. All about the experiment of shadow, and I appreciate for your time spending watching this video. I hope you enjoyed it.